On the line with us, one of America's truly great patriots, Malcolm Nance, the former U.S. intelligence agent, authority, expert, current expert, I would say, the author of numerous New York Times best-selling books, most recently, The Plot to Destroy Democracy, and his new one, They Want to Kill Americans, right here in my hand, by Malcolm Nance, who we're speaking with right now. Tell us about the book, Malcolm. What inspired you to write it, and what's the essential message of it?
I started this book in August of 2020, a few months before the election. And some of the things that I was seeing, I explained to people, it's very hard for them to understand why and how a journalist could be so fast on getting these analyses out. This book was completed a year ago. The reason is I'm not a journalist. I'm a spy that talked on television. So you were really getting the benefit of my career analyses without, the typical procedures that journalists use. We generally steal our information. Journalists have to develop their information. But in this particular instance, I was monitoring the communications and chats of right-wing extremists all around the United States. And it was clear they were weaponizing, they were spooling up for an attempt to either defend Donald Trump at the end of the election or overthrow the government after the election if they had lost. That was very clear. And I famously went on Real Time with Bill Maher on November 6th, 2 days after the election, and said the United States is going into a paramilitary insurgency by these armed Americans. So, everything that I wrote came true. 62 days later, the insurrection happened. But I want your audience to know that an insurrection is not an insurgency. An insurgency is many insurrections and political activities, which they reject the current government and then, of course, destabilize it so that they can overthrow that government.
We're talking with Malcolm Nance's new book, They Want to Kill Americans. Malcolm, how best can America respond to this? It appears to me that at the core of the militia movement across the United States basically is, white supremacist, in large part, reaction, I think, to the Obama presidency. I was pointing out in the previous segment that in 2005, every single Republican in the United States Senate voted to reauthorize the Voting Rights Act. In 2013, every single Republican in the Senate voted no to reauthorizing the Voting Rights Act. And it seems to me like, during Reconstruction, during that period, 1866 to 1876, we had 1,500 African Americans elected to political office, 600 of them state legislatures, 18 in Congress, the federal Congress. And the blowback was the election of 1876 and, stabbing black people in the back, basically, in 1877, ending Reconstruction. My sense is that we are in this second era of Reconstruction, as it were, of trying to establish a multiracial, pluralistic, true democracy in this country. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that racism seems to be driving an enormous amount of this Republican backlash. What say you?
Your analogy of the Reconstruction era is very accurate. And what came out of that, electing those black officials, allowing them equal opportunity under the law, the rise of the first revival of the Ku Klux Klan.
Yep.
The Ku Klux Klan origins. But unlike what we're doing right now, when the Ku Klux Klan rose up, started killing politicians, started, taking over, threatening, intimidating communities, we used the U.S. Army to put them down ruthlessly, arrested entire bodies of public officials who were part of the Klan. What's happening now is the exact opposite. They are being rewarded for their racism. The entire basis of what I call the Titus, T-I-T-U-S, which is the collective name of the Trump Insurgency in the United States. That's Trump, his political party, the Republican Party, maintaining the political wing, the paramilitaries, the terrorists, the Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys maintaining the military wing, and then the typical base Republican voter who just hate everything that America stands for now and idolizes Donald Trump. That is the Titus. It is a collective body of rejectionism of America. And what these people are basing all this on is straight up racism. white supremacy. And I don't want to hear from any of them that they're not racist, because the entire basis of this, it really started with Barack Obama's election. And their whole basis, if you listen to them, the Obama era was the worst era in modern American history. And you wonder, these people are so detached from reality that they don't care whether they live in a world of lies, so long as they can feel comfortable about the camouflage that is their white skin. I would not say this, any differently if this was Papua New Guinea, or if this was Burundi, or if you had told me to do an analysis of, Polish electoral knowledge. There are foreign intelligence agencies writing reports about how the fundamental core racism of America has been reharnessed by their tribal leader, Donald Trump, and has given them permission to be openly indecent and openly racist in this country. And believe me, it's going to get a lot worse.
So how do we as a nation fight back against this? The one big difference between now and 1877 is that right now the 5-year-olds going into school are about 50-50, white people and people of color, whereas back then it was a very, very different scenario. We've got a Zoomer generation that is committed to pluralistic multiracial democracy.
Right.
That seems to me like a good thing, a good start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a good thing. It's a great start. It's the fulfillment of the American dream. It's us, harnessing our better angels. However, 1/3 of this nation, and they're older, they're my age, they're, for the most part, and they're young children, all right, who are relatively wealthy, not poor. These aren't the poor whites. Yes, they do have a lot of Walmart shoppers. These are the people, as the Washington Post study showed, own a vacation house, own a very large boat. You might remember the Trump boat parades, right? Mm-hmm. And you wonder, where are these people with the giant trucks that could go and, drive around at 1 mile per gallon?
Yeah, $60,000 trucks.
Right. Go, feel that they are losing America. What they believe that they are losing is that they are losing their position of absolute power and authority, and that they have to, God forbid, share in the American experiment. Thomas Ricks, the political writer, put it, I'm going to paraphrase him, where he said, there's an entire body of white America that have decided that if they can't have their version of America, their white supremacist, white nationalist version of America, then they don't want America. They will turn this country into a straight up Trump or DeSantis-led dictatorship to rule over the other 65% of the country.
Yeah, and DeSantis is demonstrating his racist chops with his, book banning and anti-CRT laws down in Florida. So, Malcolm, we just have a minute or so till we're going to hit a hard break here. What's your advice for Americans right across the board, from black Americans to your white allies?
This November is the defining election of American history. And we said that in 2020, it was true. Now it's back again. We're in extra innings. If we lose this election to the Republicans in the House or the Senate, the American democracy ends. The American republic ends. They will codify dictatorship. They have said they will do it. And they've also said they will come after every individual who opposed them. I take them at their word. And these armed Americans are the ones who are going to execute that strategy. There's the one thing that we can do, and that's people power. They cannot stand people standing up to them. We have to turn out 20 to 25% more than we turned out in 2018 to overwhelmingly defeat the strategies that they put in place to take the vote from blacks. But they are relying on apathy of blacks and Latinos and Hispanic and women. And we must wipe that out. We have to mobilize everyone to save America.
Amen. The book is They Want to Kill Americans. The author, Malcolm Nance. Malcolm, thanks so much for dropping by.